And we are now streaming. Ms. Sapp, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the committee members. I appreciate your patience. And I think we're ready to get started. Thank you for joining us today for the District Library Book Objection Committee meeting. The purpose of today's meeting is to review an objection to the book titled Felix Ever After by Kaysen Callender. Our committee members today include myself, Dawn Sapp, Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Kate Houston, Program Specialist, Steve McCormick, Principal, Amy Jones, Media Specialist, Reagan Ashker, Teacher, Frank Spinner, Parent, Carrie Gustafson, Parent, Brittany Lavender, Community Member, and Kimberly Edwards, Community Member. Today's meeting will result in a recommendation that will be forwarded to Mr. Forson, St. Johns County School District Superintendent. This committee meeting is public record and therefore subject to sunshine law. It is being live streamed for public viewing. Committee members are not required to have their camera on during the meeting. We are committed to civility and decorum. Please assist us in maintaining a constructive meeting environment by remaining respectful of each participant during the meeting and afterwards. Additional discussion of the objecting party or committee members outside of the meeting is discouraged. Disparaging comments are contrary to district expectations regarding character and civility. Committee members received several resources in advance of this meeting. The resources included the objecting party's request for reconsideration, a copy of the book, Florida statutes, Florida Department of Education training slides, St. Johns County School Board rules, St. Johns County School District guidance for library books, both the high school and middle school guides, the Library Bill of Rights, and the School Library Media Materials Evaluation Checklist. The process for today is as follows. First, the objecting party will have the opportunity to address the committee. They will provide any information they deem compelling or new regarding their request. Next, the committee will have a discussion utilizing the School Library Media Materials Evaluation Checklist. And finally, the committee will determine a recommendation for Superintendent Forson. There are two options. Retain the book in grades blank and up. For example, we might say retain this book in grades 10 and up. Or number two, remove the book from the St. Johns County School District libraries. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to attaining consensus. Are there any questions? Let us begin. There is one objecting party for Felix Ever After, Stephanie Witten. Is Stephanie available for the meeting? Ms. Dixon?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I don't think I see her in the meeting just yet. Is she here?
I'm
Stephanie
sorry. No, I'm not. I don't believe she is attending.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we didn't need to admit her.
Yes, my apologies.
Okay, so Mrs. Witten will not be addressing the committee. Therefore, committee members, we will now begin our discussion utilizing the School Library Media Materials Evaluation Checklist. I will read each question or statement from the review checklist, and each committee member will have the opportunity to share their response. Comments will be summarized to provide an overall committee response for each question. Please remember to raise your hand when you're ready to respond. Keep in mind that our final task is to make a recommendation to the superintendent using one of the two options mentioned before. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to consensus. Let's begin. So question one is please list or attach professional and or crowdsourced reviews and indicate whether the reviews are favorable or unfavorable. So for this one, I'd just like if someone would like to start us out, you can raise your hand and share the reviews that you had a chance to see. Okay, Kate, go ahead.
Okay, I believe the reviews that I reviewed they are favorable for the book. All of them recommend the book for ages 14 to 18, so high school age. They use superlative descriptions of the book's message, including, and I quote, "It is full of warmth, love, and support. This is an important story." That's from the School Library Journal. That was an end quote there. And also, quote, "Calendar, the author, includes sound information and responsible psychological guidance," end quote. That's from the Horn Book Magazine. And those are just two of the very complimentary reviews that I found. There are several that come from everywhere from the Book List, Kirkus Reviews, Publishers Weekly, and the School Library Journal that have positive things to say about this book for children of high school age.
Okay, thank you, Kate. Is there anyone else who would like to share any additional reviews? Britt, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. So I too looked at Kirkus, and although it does have some favorable, it also does have unfavorable. It says has, quote, "no cultural richness, is an exhausting read. It has the ability to haunt readers. It is trauma and drama filled and not for the faint of heart." Another review from Mother Booker states it's not a lyrical book. Quote, "It is not beautiful in terms of language, and there is darkness in this book."
Okay, thank you, Britt. Are there any other reviews from the group? Okay, we're going to move on to question number 2. On question number 2, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to indicate how many of you felt that yes, students would benefit from reading or listening to this book, and how many felt no. So if you could use your reactions, and if you feel yes, you'll use a green check, and if you feel no, you'll use a red X. Okay, so I see 5 indicating they think it will be beneficial, and 2 indicating they do not think it will be beneficial. So at this point, you can clear your reactions, and if you would like to provide an explanation, you can raise your hand. Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. So I am looking at this through the eyes of a parent. And when I read the question, will students benefit? I have to answer no. You know, if it said, will people benefit? Yes, I do believe that there are people that would benefit from reading this. However, when I look at the guidance that was provided for high school library books and middle school library books, I found that, you know, when we do question 9, I think we're going to see that there are lots of those bullet points are checked. You know, there's frequent illegal drug use. I would say pervasive profanity throughout the book, and as well as numerous descriptions of sexual acts.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Carrie, go ahead.
Yes, I did say that it would be beneficial, but I wanted to state that I think it is beneficial for only a limited audience, not for the entire, let's say, 9th through 12th grade. I do have similar concerns, although if I was dealing with this in my household, it is a book that I may want somebody to lead me to help my child.
Okay. Kate, go ahead.
Yes, when I read the question, will students benefit from reading or listening to this book? I'm looking at it more as a book available in the library, not for instruction of an entire class, but rather for students to self-select. Having taught high school for many years and also being a parent myself, I do agree with Carrie in that it would be a good book to help understand some of the angst and the issues that our students who don't fit the typical mold that they feel. There is quite a bit of profanity. I agree with Frank in that, but I do believe that it is the way that a lot of teenagers communicate. It's the way they speak. It's a lot of the stressors they feel, especially as they're getting ready to go from junior year to senior year with the question of college and what do they want to do with their lives. I think that this really gives the students who were seeking this out a mirror into the situation that they might encounter that they are living right now. I think that it is a good mirror or window into the lives of some of our students who struggle with their sexuality, with their orientation, and with the issues that arise from that.
Okay, Britt, go ahead.
I wrote that there are a wealth of books that convey the complexity of self-exploration and bullying without touching on sex and drugs. There are also books that focused on marginalized communities without the dramatic and confusing overlay in the narration that this book considered. There's also much better book options out there that have a much cleaner presentation of these complex issues. One example is the book Almost Perfect by Brian Ketcher. This book is not recommended for ages, or it is recommended only for ages 14 to 17. I would challenge that in and of itself, but I definitely think that although students may have an open dialogue of the ability to use curse words, it should not be encouraged by leaving books that are of this nature available openly.
Okay, Frank?
Yeah, I wanted to add, I heard in some of the other conversations today, people say, if this book was a movie, it would be rated R. And this absolutely would, and if our children went to the movie theater to see it, they would be asked for ID, and I heard someone say that she was okay with it because it's just out in the library. Well, that's just the point, is anybody can pick it up. And I think as a parent, that we should have the right to say, no, this is not appropriate for my child because of the nature of the material that's in the book. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, so I'm going to read back. I've been capturing, the different comments. So I'm going to read those comments back and we'll create a summary. So one statement that was made, that is it beneficial for people? Yes, but students, no. There's lots of profanity and sexual acts. And when you look at the guidance, it didn't appear to align with some of the guidance we have for our high school and middle school books. It's beneficial for a limited audience, and that it could be a helpful resource for those who seek it out. It is considered a library book, so it is a self-select title, and you could see where it could provide some solace in the angst of our non-typical students. Teenagers do communicate with profanity. It could offer a good window and a mirror for those who have questions about their sexuality. There was reference that other books in the same topic could be a better option that with a cleaner presentation. We shouldn't be encouraging profanity, and if this were a movie, I believe it would be rated R. Okay, so captured that. So we're going to move on to question number 3. Does this book offer an opportunity to understand different cultures and or minority groups? And so again, I'd like you to ask you, if you answered yes, you'll indicate with a green check, no with a red X. Okay. So it looks like everyone believes that it can offer an opportunity to understand different cultures or minority groups. Is there anyone who would like to comment on this? You can raise your hand. Kim, I see you have a green checkup. Did you want, nope, there it went away. Okay. Okay, Britt, go ahead.
Yeah, I answered this. This was hard for me because I put yes, although I said somewhat
Okay,
in the explanation. I said it really stays at a surface level of vulgarity that makes it hard to deeply explore the characters. This book is a roller coaster of emotions leading to more chaotic thinking and less connection to a topic. This book also touches on catfishing, a technical term and action that really should not be introduced at this young of an age. It focuses on how it's easier to seek out things that are not good for us and won't work out instead of things we want, showing discipline. This is not really quality thought or story to a marginalized group. The timeline presented is also dangerous for hormone therapy and surgery at such a young age and with little to no doctor care and involvement that is showed in the story.
okay. So what I basically captured is although the group feels that this book offers an opportunity to understand different cultures and minority groups, that we do have a comment that although yes, it's somewhat at a surface level, there are some topics introduced that may not be age appropriate. Catfishing is one. And then also that hormone therapy is introduced and also at a very young age. Carrie, go ahead. Carrie, did you want to offer a comment?
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute. I just wanted to say that I did write down at this question that I questioned the timeline a bit here, as this transitioning child was already status post top surgery and was just yet a senior in high school and was receiving the hormones. And I thought that was, and then later on in the book questions whether or not they were truly trans. So I found the book to be, very, very, to handle it. It just seemed very flippant, the decision and the father, anyway, I just personally think that some of the topics brought up should not be brought up at such a young age.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is a fiction title, so we will skip question number 4. Question number 5. So this is going to be one where you'll indicate yes with a green check, no with a red X. Is the information in this book current and accurate as far as you are aware? So we'll need a green check if you believe that yes, the information is current and accurate, and a red X if you believe no, it is not. Okay, so we have 4 green checks and 3 red X's. Okay, question number 6. So if everyone will clear your screens. Question number 6, does this work have literary merit? You'll indicate yes with a green check, no with a red X. Does this work have literary merit? Okay, so I see 7 indications for yes on literary merit. Okay, number 7, this book is most suitable for which grade band? So we're going to start with the 9 through 12 grade band. So if everyone can clear, if you believe this is suitable for grades 9 through 12, you'll indicate with a green check. We're only doing 9 through 12 right now. Green check for 9 through 12 or a red X. Okay, so I see 4 who agree with 9 through 12 and 3 say no. Okay, now we're going to look at them. If you can clear it again, we're going to look at the middle grade bands of 6 through 8. If you believe this is suitable for grades 6 through 8, if you'll indicate with a green check. If you don't believe it's suitable for grades 6 to 8, you'll indicate a red X. Okay, so overwhelmingly, no 6 through 8. Okay, so we've had some conversations in the earlier, and I think I will go ahead and let's try to clarify this now. For those of you who said no to grades 9 through 12, do you have any interest in, say, moving that 9th grade up? Would you be, in the last meeting, someone asked, well, could we just do 11 and 12? So before we move on, I just wanted to see if anyone was interested in that option. Frank's saying nope. Thank you, Frank. Okay, if no one's interested, and then we're just going to leave it as is, and we'll just say 9 to 12. We had 4 who agree and 3 who believe it doesn't belong in the library. Okay, number 8, are the illustrations appropriate for students in the grade levels selected above? As far as illustrations, I think we're just talking about the cover art. So if you could vote, is it appropriate for grades 9 to 12? Yes with a green check, no with a red X. Okay, everybody's okay with the artwork? Okay, now question number 9. We've had good conversations around question number 9. So in question number 9, what we're looking at is when you look at the guidance for high school, we're only talking about the high school guidance for books. Is there content that would not be appropriate according to that guidance? So what I'd like to do is, if you would like to comment on this section, you'll share with us which areas you think are not appropriate according to the guidance, and then give a little bit of reason for why. Okay, Carrie, go ahead. You can start us off.
Okay, hi, I'm sorry. Okay, so looking at this and looking at the guidance that we received, I checked off profanity, crude language, sexual behavior, and page 255 to 256 is when you get the what I feel his heart on, which scared the S out of me as I press against him. I felt like, based on what we were presented with, that that is a description of an aroused sexual organ, which we're not supposed to have. And then the profanity, just in the first 50 pages, I think I counted 13 F words or a piece of shit and things like that. And it just, to me, was pervasive profanity. And I just wish that they would make these books without these couple of things. I believe in erring in the side of caution, which I listened to so much with the passing of the law. So that's why I do not feel that this belongs.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. Kate, go ahead.
I agree with Carrie. I also found it to have the profanity and the sexual behavior. So I did feel compelled to check those boxes.
Okay. Britt, go ahead.
I completely agree with the people that spoke before me. I also checked profanity, crude language, and sexual behavior. I also checked the prurient behavior, instructional content on gender identity or sexual orientation, as the book explicitly talks about the injections given, the surgery, and the hormone replacement. I also checked the box on cruelty, given the bullying, the cyberbullying, the abandonment discussions about the parents, and the abuse from the parents.
Okay. So is there anyone else who would like to share? If you're in a similar theme, then I think we've captured profanity, crude language, sexual behavior, cruelty, the instructional content, prurient behavior. So then if you go down to that box under question number 9, which says if you selected something but you believe the book should remain. Oh, Frank, sorry. Frank, go ahead. Did I miss you?
It's okay. One thing I didn't hear that I saw in the book that bothered me as well was the frequent drug use, illegal drug use by minor children. And really the message of the use is that, you're doing it for fun or to get rid of anxiety. And I didn't think that was a good message to portray. And no one said that.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Okay, so if there were some of those marked, but you believe the book should remain in the collection, I just want to give anybody an opportunity to speak to that. Are there any comments on that? Okay, Kate?
Sorry, I feel like I should speak because I did say that I checked some boxes. So I just keep thinking about this as a self-select book, a book where there's not many books where our kids who are questioning their orientations and identities, where they can read about that. And so I did find that I could speak to one of the sexual behavior, especially the scene that I believe Carrie referenced. I did appreciate that in that scene, the character asserts himself well and not wanting to go further with having sex, and the other character respects his wishes. And a lot of times in stories in popular culture, we don't see that play out. Like, it's often where one person is forced, even though they say no. So I did see at least a silver lining in that example of, how to behave when you don't want to go further and someone's pressuring you for that. And also, on the other hand, how to behave as the one putting the pressure on, stop and move on with it. So I did see that as one potentially positive in some of the sexual scenes that were in that one particular sexual scene that played out in the book.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, then I think we are ready to move on to our recommendation for the superintendent. So just so that you all know, the superintendent will see all of the summary of comments, and then he'll also see the recommendation. So I think that we are between, the first one would be retain the material in grades 9 through 12, and the second option would be remove the material. So we're going to start with retain the material in the collection for grades 9 through 12 would be a green check. Removing the material from St. Johns County School District school libraries would be a red X. Okay, so I see 4 for retain.
Ms. Sapp, there are actually 5.
5, okay, sorry. I guess I am still not seeing quite everyone. I apologize. Okay, 5, yep, I see it now. I had to scroll down a little bit. So 5 for retain and 3 for remove. Okay, so are there any additional comments so that anyone would like, now that we kind of have so we had 5 that think it should be retained, 3 that think it should be removed. We have all of the discussion that led up to this. Are there any additional comments that anyone on the committee would like included? Okay, seeing none, I think this, I appreciate everyone's participation. I appreciate your honesty and candor. I appreciate the respect that you showed to everyone on the committee. We will have the summary of the recommendation available for signature here at 40 Orange starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. So you can stop by anytime at the downstairs at the front desk between 9 a.m. tomorrow and Friday at 5 p.m. to sign off. And if you would please bring any documents that you used for note taking or to guide our conversation, because this is a meeting that the Sunshine Law does say that we have to keep all the records of any written notes. Carrie, you have something to add?
I just wanted to say, do I bring the book that I borrowed back when I
Yes.
do I bring to school or to the office?
If you would bring it to the office, that would be great, and we will make sure that all the books get returned. That'll just help us know that the books were returned. So if you have one of the books, our parents and community members, if you have books that we've provided to you, when you come down for signature, that would be great if you could leave the book with us as well. Okay, well, again, I appreciate everyone's participation, and then this concludes the meeting.
Ms. Sapp,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes.
My apologies, my headphones died, and so I wasn't really sure. For the record, I want to make sure, I believe that at some point during the meeting, you were unable to see all of the participants, and so
Okay.
your counts for votes might be off.
Maybe off, okay.
Make sure that we maintain the accuracy of our records so that they are truly reflective of what was shown on the screen, because they were clearly visible by everyone in the meeting and our public. And so I believe that your counts were off by 1 in the
Okay,
affirmative for each of your counts. We can certainly go back in the video to verify that. And
Ms.
I
Dixon,
want to adjust that in your notes. Dr. Lawson?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the video is not capturing those green checks. The
Okay.
video is capturing Miss Sapp.
okay.
Okay. All righty. Okay. And so you may want to, if you want to revisit.
I'll include a note so that it's captured for Mr. Forson that as I was taking my notes, it appears that I wasn't seeing at least one of the voting members. I'll make sure I include it. And thank you. Okay, I think we're good, and thank you all again, and we appreciate you coming down to provide your signature on the summary documents. Have a great afternoon.